Welcome back to CircuitSphere. Today marks the start of an exciting new series where we'll dive deep into the iconic PowerMac G5. This first video is all about the most powerful model ever made, the G5 Quad 2.5 gigahertz. We'll explore its history, groundbreaking features, and why it remains such an iconic machine. But that's just the beginning. In the upcoming weeks, we'll tear this beast down to its core, walk you through servicing the water cooling system, and even look at some exciting upgrade possibilities. If you're an Apple fan or a vintage tech enthusiast, you won't want to miss this series. In this video, I'll be giving this PowerMac G5 a modern makeover. I'm going to add a 2 terabyte SSD, upgrade the RAM to 7 gigabytes, only because that's all I currently have on hand, and replace the original DVD drive with a brand new Asus 24X DVD-RW drive. And on top of all that, I'm going to wrap the tower in a matte black vinyl and install RGB lighting for a fresh and custom look. Once that's done, I'm going to run benchmarks to analyze its performance and give this G5 an official SphereScore. And finally, I'll install some games to see how well this beast performs in modern context. Let's dive in. In October 2005, Apple introduced the PowerMac G5 Quad 2.5 gigahertz, the crown jewel of the PowerMac G5 lineup. At its core were two dual-core PowerPC 970MP processors designed in collaboration with IBM. With 4 processing cores running at 2.5 gigahertz, this machine wasn't just fast, it was revolutionary. At the time, it was Apple's most powerful computer ever, built to handle the demands of professional working in 3D modeling, video production, and high-end computational tasks. The PowerMac G5 Quad was also a technological marvel for its cooling system. Unlike traditional computers of the time, the Quad relied on a sophisticated liquid cooling system to keep its dual-core processors running at peak performance. Liquid cooling was unheard of in consumer-grade Apple machines, making the G5 Quad a unique standout. The system used coolant to draw heat away from the processors, dissipating it through a radiator and fans. This allowed Apple to push the boundaries of performance while maintaining reliability, a critical feature for the demanding workloads of its professional audience. Beyond its technical prowess, the PowerMac G5 Quad also came with a premium price, starting at $3,299 in 2005, which is the equivalent to over $4,800 today. It was a serious investment aimed squarely at professional and power users. For that price, buyers received top-of-the-line hardware, including options for up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Could you believe that in 2005? And an advanced graphics card like the NVIDIA Quattro FX 4500, which alone added $1,650 to the cost. However, the Quad wasn't just a high-performance machine. It also marked the end of an era. Less than a year after this release, Apple began transitioning to Intel processors, leaving the PowerPC architecture behind. The Quad became a symbol of Apple's final and most ambitious effort with the PowerMac G5 line, a swan song for the PowerPC era. Today, the PowerMac G5 Quad remains a beloved collector's item. It's remembered as the most powerful PowerMac ever, and a bold experiment in Apple's history. For those who experienced its groundbreaking performance firsthand, it stands as a testament to Apple's dedication to pushing the limits of innovation. The PowerMac I have here today is one I've been searching for years. This is the PowerMac G5 with 4 2.5 gigahertz PowerPC G5 processors. It has 2 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM and a 1 terabyte hard drive. It also comes equipped with an NVIDIA GeForce 6600 graphics card with 256 megabytes of VRAM. In addition to the upgrades I'm doing today, future episodes in this series will include maxing out the RAM to 16 gigabytes and upgrading the graphics card to an NVIDIA GeForce 7800 GT. This machine will be replacing my dual-core 2 GHz PowerMac G5 from 2003. I use that computer as my hub for all the vintage Mac projects I do, but this Quad G5 is set to take its place as the ultimate centerpiece for my collection. The RAM and SSD upgrades are actually pretty straightforward. First, make sure the PowerMac is fully opened up, then carefully remove the fan. It just slides right out. With the fan out, you have access to the RAM. This machine currently has 2 gigabytes installed, and I'm adding an additional 5 gigabytes. Now, here's the original 1 terabyte hard drive that came with it. I'm replacing it with a 2 terabyte Western Digital Red SSD. To do this, I simply disconnect the cable, and since I don't want to bother with an adapter kit, I'll gently lay the SSD inside the bay. It's lightweight, so it fits in there nicely. Next, I reattach the cable to the bottom connector, as I'll continue using the original drive for additional storage. And that's it for the SSD upgrade. I installed the Asus DVD drive off camera, but it's a simple process. You just pop out the old drive by releasing these 2 clips, and it slides right out. The Asus drive is a SATA connection, so I used an IDE to SATA adapter to make it compatible with this machine. I've also installed this same drive in tons of computers, and it works great. It burns disks super fast and costs around only $30 on Amazon. I also installed an RGB LED strip off camera. It was kind of a last minute addition. What made this super easy is that this PowerMac came with a Sonic USB 2.0 adapter for additional ports, and it had an extra internal USB port available. I went on Amazon and purchased a Monster LED strip, which has a standard USB connector. No soldering was required. I simply connected it to the internal USB port and ran the LED strip around the inside of the computer. You can see up there where I wrapped the USB cable and secured it with a little bit of tape to keep it in place. Then I ran the strip around the perimeter of the PowerMac, and it fits perfectly, works flawlessly, and the whole process only took about 10 minutes. The best part, the LEDs power on every time the computer turns on and shut off automatically when the computer powers down. It's a simple, clean setup that adds a nice modern touch to the machine. Now that the upgrades are complete, I reran the benchmarks and we can go over the results. In version 2 of the SphereScore spreadsheet, the benchmark tests I perform are Geekbench 2, Xbench, and Cinebench 2003. On Geekbench, there was a nominal change in scores between the before and after upgrades, with an overall Geekbench score of 3,491. During the Xbench tests, I saw a huge performance and improvement in the disk test. That's thanks to the 2 terabyte SSD, increasing the score by 149% to 287. And the overall Xbench score came out at 154. Cinebench 2003 didn't show any notable differences post-upgrade either, but this PowerMac G5 achieved an impressive total Cinebench score of 4,153. Comparing the performance scores, we officially have a new champion of the version 2 performance score. This PowerMac G5 beat out the former #1 computer, the original MacBook Core Duo, by over 44%. I'll post a link to the video I did on that laptop above. All right, it's time to give this PowerMac G5 Quad its official SphereScore. If you're new here, the SphereScore is how I rate computers based on 5 categories: build quality, aesthetic design, expandability, historical significance, and legacy value. Let's break it down. Build quality. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. This machine is built like a tank. The aluminum chassis is durable and iconic. However, the liquid cooling system does come with some long-term risks. Overall, it's solid after all these years. Aesthetic design, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. The PowerMac G5 has one of Apple's most recognizable designs. It's sleek, functional, and timeless. It's no surprise collectors still love this look. Expandability and upgrade potential. Gets a 4 out of 5. For a 2005 computer, this system was incredibly expandable. It has PCI-X slots, support for up to 16 gigabytes of RAM, and swappable drives. Even today, it's a dream to upgrade and work on. Historical significance, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. The Quad represents the end of an era, the pinnacle of PowerPC technology. It was Apple's most powerful machine before the transition to Intel. This is a key piece of computing history, and the legacy collector value gets a 4 out of 5. As the most powerful PowerMac ever, it's highly sought after. But the reputation of the liquid cooling system does affect its desirability slightly. Adding it all up, this PowerMac G5 Quad scores an impressive 22 out of 25. It's a machine that's beautifully designed, historically important, and still holds its own as a collector's item. This score crowns the PowerMac G5 Quad as the new version 2 SphereScore champion, surpassing my old 2003 dual-core PowerMac G5 that this will be replacing. I include a link in every video description to the full SphereScore spreadsheet. Feel free to explore all of the computers we've benchmarked on the channel. I started with a game I hadn't played before, Doom 3. I have a little bit of a confession to make. I can't do scary at all. And with video games, it's on a whole other level because it feels like I'm the one experiencing the horror. I'm just putting that out there as we dive into this game. In Doom 3, you start off as a space marine, newly arrived on Mars, tasked with security. Pretty quickly, you're sent to locate a missing scientist in the decommissioned communications facility. Along the way, you encounter several people hinting at troubling experiments.
I'm sure you want to find him. You see, never mind. Don't listen to me. Never mind, Bryce. I shouldn't talk about it. It's really not my business.
Eventually, you find the scientist, but things take a turn as the gates of hell are open.
You must let me get this communication out. They have to be warned while there is still time. I can't let from what I've seen, you can't possibly understand or comprehend. Stuff is real. I know. But this can't be our readings here. This is bad. Go on these levels.
Now, right when that happened, I was ready to be done with the game. That was enough for me, over my limit. But for you, my viewers, I sucked it up and battled some demons, the things I do. This game is fantastic. I wish that I had the emotional ability to play it longer. And it runs extremely well on the PowerMac G5, as it should, especially when viewed through a 2005 lens. The visuals are great, and the game does an excellent job invoking fear with dark lighting and eerie voice communications over the speakers. The next game I played was 4x4 Evo 2, released in 2002 on the Mac. Its system requirements only called for a PowerMac G3, so this game wasn't even a little bit of a challenge for the PowerMac G5. I love racing games. They're my favorite genre, and they're pretty much the only video games I seriously play. 4x4 Evo 2 is pretty much a straightforward off-road racer, but I've really enjoyed it. The vehicle options are incredible, especially for the time period. Now, naturally, I chose the Chevy Silverado as my ride because it's the only true pickup in the lineup. I wanted to spend way more time on this game, but playing with a keyboard was miserable. Constantly holding the up arrow for acceleration while using the left and right keys to steer had my carpal tunnel start to develop. I've already ordered a USB Xbox 360 controller, and once it arrives, I'll dive back into this game and definitely play it a lot more. Finally, I had to play Halo. It's possibly my favorite game to play on PowerPC Max. Now here's a hot take for you. I actually prefer playing Halo on the Mac over Xbox. Halo runs great on this PowerMac G5, which is impressive since it's typically a more challenging game for Macs to handle. I've played Halo for hundreds upon hundreds of hours since it was released. Who hasn't? And going through it again is still an absolute blast. This game is a timeless classic, no question. I got in some good kills, but stopped myself before I got sucked in to playing 4 hours. My final task in this video is to give the PowerMac G5 a unique, modern look by wrapping the aluminum casing with matte black vinyl. I ordered a 2-foot by 5-foot roll of matte black vinyl from Amazon, which I'll link to in the description below. I started by thoroughly cleaning the exterior of the Mac with a microfiber cloth and some Windex to ensure a smooth surface for the wrap. To avoid scratching the Mac, I laid down a towel on the table before gently placing the computer on its side. Once it was in position, I laid out the vinyl wrap over the side to take some preliminary measurements and cut a section of the wrap off. Starting from the bottom of the Mac and working upwards about 4 inches at a time, I peeled off the backing and carefully applied the vinyl, making sure to address any bubbling before moving on to the next section. After covering the entire side, I used an X-Acto knife to trim the edges, which really created a crisp, clean cut that made the edges look beautiful. I repeated this process for the remaining sides of the computer. I think the key to achieving such a professional finish was applying the wrap in small, manageable sections and using the precision of the X-Acto knife for clean, sharp cuts. The final product looked incredible. I decided to leave the front and top panels unwrapped to create a sleek contrast between the matte black vinyl and the original aluminum finish. I am truly happy with how it turned out. It gives the PowerMac a fresh, modern look that really stands out. So there you have it, the PowerMac G5 Quad 2.5 gigahertz, upgraded, benchmarked, and put to the test. This machine truly represents the pinnacle of Apple's PowerPC era. From its innovative liquid cooling system to its incredible expandability, the G5 Quad still impresses, even nearly 2 decades later. The upgrades we made today, like the 2 terabyte SSD and matte black vinyl wrap, not only modernized the G5, but also gave it a unique and personal touch. While the benchmarks showed only modest improvements in some areas, the disk performance boost was significant, which is what I was going for. And gaming on this machine was a blast, especially for titles from its era. It's safe to say this PowerMac G5 has earned its place as the new version 2 SphereScore champion, with a score of 22 out of 25, surpassing my old dual-core G5 that it's replacing. And it's cemented its legacy as an iconic piece of Apple history. I'm excited to continue exploring this machine in future episodes where I'll max out the RAM, upgrade the GPU, and show you even more ways to keep this beast alive and kicking in 2025 and beyond. As always, thank you for watching CircuitSphere. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode in this PowerMac G5 series. Check the description for links to the SphereScore spreadsheet, where you can explore all the computers we've benchmarked so far. Feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts, memories of the G5, or suggestions for future videos. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.